My husband, Jake, has always been the kind of man people respect. Reliable,
Polite.
predictable. We've been married for 6 years, and from the outside, our life looks good. Nice house, steady income, weekend getaways when schedules allow. But lately, something's been missing. Something I didn't realize I needed until it found its way into my house. Jake's always been close with his college buddies. 3 of them, loud and confident, always joking, drinking, taking over the living room like it belonged to them. At first, I found them harmless, even entertaining. But over time, their visits became more frequent, and Jake seemed to forget I was even in the room. I'd bring out drinks, snacks, whatever, and they'd barely look up. All of them, except Ryan. Ryan isn't loud like the others. He watches. Quiet, thoughtful. Always the last to speak, but somehow the most listened to. He started noticing me, thanking me when I brought out beer, asking how my day was, holding my gaze a little too long. At first, I brushed it off. He was just being polite. Then came the night they all sat around joking about some new adult film that was trending. One of those late-night conversations full of laughter and careless honesty. I stood near the kitchen, pretending to be invisible, until I heard Ryan say, "I'd watch it just for the story." Everyone laughed. I laughed too, but my eyes flicked to his, and he was already looking at me. Not like the others. Not like a friend of my husband's. He held my gaze just a second too long. I felt it in my chest, like a secret knocking. After they left, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing his voice, seeing his face. The next few times they came over, I noticed more. How Ryan always made a point to sit where he could see me, how his comments became subtly tailored toward me, like inside jokes only I could catch. My husband remained oblivious. He was always more interested in the game, the drinks, the laughter.
Me?
I was just part of the background noise. It wasn't just about Ryan.
It was about me.
How long had it been since I felt seen? Since someone looked at me like they were actually curious? Jake loved me in a way that had grown passive, automatic. But Ryan made me feel something sharp, alive. One night, after they left, Jake went to bed early. I stood in the kitchen, cleaning up after them like always. I caught my reflection in the window. Same face, same house, same routine. But I didn't feel like the same woman. Something in me had shifted. I touched my lips without thinking, and for some reason, Ryan's eyes came to mind. I hated how easily he filled the silence Jake used to occupy. It started with a look. That's all it ever takes. One moment. One connection. I didn't ask for it. I didn't even know I wanted it. But when it arrived, I didn't look away. After that night, things didn't go back to normal. I started noticing Ryan in ways I hadn't before. The way he smelled, clean, subtle cologne with a hint of something deeper. The way he carried himself, calm but confident. When he laughed, he glanced at me first, like checking to see if I was watching. I always was. Jake didn't change. He still came home, said the usual things, went straight to his laptop or the TV. We hadn't touched each other in nearly a month. I tried not to let it bother me. I told myself marriage goes through phases. That's what everyone says, right? But it wasn't a phase. It was a pattern. Ryan texted me a few days after their last hangout. Just a meme. Something harmless. I laughed.
Replied.
That should have been it. But it wasn't. The next day, he texted again. A joke about Jake, something only someone close would dare say. I responded. Then another text. This time he asked how I really was. I paused before replying. Then I told him the truth. Tired.
Bored.
I feel like a houseplant. He didn't laugh. He wrote, "You deserve better than to be invisible." I stared at that message for a long time. The next time he came over, things felt different. We didn't touch. Barely spoke. But the tension sat between us like something waiting to be acknowledged. He looked at me like I was dangerous, and I looked at him like I'd already made a choice, even if I hadn't acted on it yet. That night, alone in bed, I remembered the movie they had all joked about. I searched it, played it with the volume low. I watched it not for the plot, not for the actors, but for the idea of being wanted. Desired. I imagined Ryan. Not his body, but the way he made me feel just by existing near me. My heart raced, not with shame, but anticipation. The next day, he texted again. Were you thinking about it too? I didn't answer. I didn't delete it either.
Days passed.
I told myself it was just a game, just attention, that I'd never cross a line. I repeated it like a prayer. But prayers don't stop gravity. When someone sees you, really sees you, you start forgetting the lines you drew for yourself. I saw Jake every day, but it was Ryan who made me feel. And that scared me more than anything. Not because I might do something wrong, but because I wasn't sure I cared if I did. Every time Ryan looked at me, I felt more awake, more alive. I started dressing up when I knew they were coming. Light makeup, nothing obvious, but I caught Ryan noticing. He never said anything. He didn't need to. Whatever this was, it wasn't harmless anymore. It wasn't pretend. It was real. And it was growing faster than I could control. Jake got called into work one evening, last minute, some issue with a client. He kissed my cheek, barely touched me, and left in a rush. I didn't expect anyone, but 20 minutes later, Ryan texted. Left something at your place. Mind if I swing by? I said sure. Simple, casual. My hands trembled after I sent it. When he arrived, he acted like everything was normal. He said he forgot his phone charger. I nodded, handed it to him, and we stood there, both of us pretending there was nothing under the surface. But everything had already shifted. The air between us was tight, expectant. He didn't move. Neither did I. His eyes found mine, and we just stood like that for a second too long. My heart started racing, not because I was afraid, because I wanted him to say something. Or do something.
He did.
You ever think about that night? He asked, voice low, careful. I didn't ask which night. I didn't need to. Yes, I said. Nothing else. Just yes. Then silence. Not awkward, heavy. He stepped closer. I could feel his breath. My body reacted before my brain did. I didn't stop him when he reached for my hand. I didn't stop him when he leaned in. Our lips met in a kiss that wasn't soft or hesitant. It was the kind of kiss that came from weeks of denial. It wasn't rushed, but it wasn't gentle either. It was all the things we hadn't said out loud. My skin was electric, my mind blank except for the way he made me feel in that moment. Wanted, chosen, real. I didn't think about Jake. I didn't think about consequences. I thought about how long I'd gone without being touched like this, looked at like this, needed like this. I let go. Completely. Afterward, we didn't talk. He got up, dressed, and kissed my shoulder before leaving. No promises. No guilt-tripping. Just silence. But the kind of silence that said everything. I sat there alone. The room quiet, but my heart still beating hard. I didn't cry. I didn't feel ashamed. I felt hollow and full at the same time. Like something in me had broken, but something else had come alive. He didn't text that night. I didn't expect him to. I just lay there in the dark, wide awake, staring at the ceiling, trying to understand what I'd just done. But the truth was, I understood exactly what I'd done. It wasn't a mistake. It was a decision. One I made the second I stopped pretending I didn't feel anything. The second I let him in. I had stepped across the line with both feet. Not by accident. Not by impulse. By choice. And the part that scared me the most? I didn't regret it. Not even a little. We never spoke about it. Not once. Ryan came around less after that night. When he did, he kept his distance. Polite, brief, careful not to linger. I mirrored him. It was like we'd silently agreed that what happened would stay where it happened. No one suspected anything. Especially not Jake. He was too distracted, too used to everything being where he left it. But nothing was where he left it. Not really. Something had shifted in me. I still played the role, smiled, cooked, asked about his day, but it felt like I was acting in a story I didn't want to be part of anymore. Jake didn't notice the difference. Or maybe he did, and chose not to ask. I tried to feel guilty. I told myself I should. But guilt never arrived the way I expected. What came instead was emptiness. Not because of Ryan, but because I realized how lonely I'd become without even noticing it. Ryan started dating someone. I found out through mutual friends. I saw a picture of her. Young, pretty, full of that hopeful light I used to have. It stung more than I wanted it to. Not because I loved him. I didn't. It was something else. Maybe the reminder that whatever he had with me wasn't real. Just a moment. Just something to pass time. Just like I was for him, and maybe for Jake too. I tried to reconnect with Jake after that. I made plans, reached out more, tried to bring intimacy back, but there was a gap we both couldn't cross. It wasn't anger or betrayal. It was silence. Years of it. We had built a routine, not a marriage. I don't think he noticed what I was trying to do. Or maybe he did, and it just didn't matter enough. Sometimes I think about Ryan. Not what we did, but how it felt. The way he looked at me like I was more than wallpaper. I don't miss him. I miss how I felt around him. I miss feeling awake. I haven't told anyone. Not my friends. Not a therapist. Not even myself in the mirror. But the memory stays, quietly present. I don't revisit it, but I don't erase it either. It's there, in the background, like a bookmark in a chapter one shouldn't have opened. I don't regret the kiss. I don't regret the night. What I regret is needing it so badly in the first place. I thought feeling wanted would fix the part of me that felt invisible. Instead, it just proved how far gone I already was. Some nights I still wonder if Jake ever really saw me. Not the version I performed, but the person I actually am. I think the answer is no. And maybe that's the part that hurts the most. I betrayed my husband, but I also betrayed myself. I thought I was choosing passion, but I was just choosing not to feel numb. And even now, knowing everything I risked, I'm not sure I'd choose differently.